Alright guys, this is my first game in the losers bracket. We're doing another slogfest today, because I have more than 2 videos to upload, so we know I win this one. Yeah, Joyboy was just saying that we saw this guy on stream, so if you watched Keegan's stream of this tournament, then you saw this guy. And actually, so I was kind of counting on my team a little bit to scout for me, and I got pretty unlucky because we didn't have any information for any of my opponents. Because I lost right away, right? So we weren't really scouting people who were going straight to losers bracket. So I was lucky to have tuned in a little bit into Keegan's stream to see this guy. So thanks, Keegan, for helping me out winning this match. But yeah, so the only real thing I took away is I knew he was on Dragon Turbo, and I knew that he sided in Deck Dev. So I was pretty scared because Deck Dev, as you guys saw last game, can completely dismantle my entire deck. But yeah, I think I win the die roll. Let's see.
You did. Yep.
All right, that's a good start. That's how you start a tournament. All right, this hand is slow and bad.
Yeah.
All right, so it was a little faster than it needed to be. So I know he's on combo, so I'm not like really afraid to play passive, especially with a True Nade. Because I mean, does the Dragon deck? They don't really play well into like even just a regular dupe. Like you don't need dupe lock if you just have like a Spirit Reaper or something that kind of counters the entire deck, but. Just having a wall of a bunch of defensive dudes, you can kind of bank on not getting OTK'd. Like, do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess they can Brio bounce your field.
Yeah. But like normally they do their super rejuve turn. You know, like they'd have their big trade in super rejuve.
They need a setup turn usually.
Right. So I figured, okay, that's what's gonna happen, and I have my True Nade, right? So I can play it slow. Not that I had any option. I guess in theory. Yeah, I didn't have any option. I could have been using Swap Frog every turn to get this Avarice live, but I think it's better just Turtle up. That's kind of why I decided to do.
It was also very slow as well.
Yeah, which is great. You know, winning the die roll in this combo matchup and both of us having like these slow hands, but we know it's inevitable. Like one of us has to do something. Yeah, so this is big.
That's hilarious.
So I'm like, okay, well my hand was kind of bad, but like losing my big extenders, Exodius, Pot of Avarice, like that really sucks. That means out of 33 cards, I only have 3 more cards that'll keep me going. If I draw a Pot of Avarice or an Exodius, then these go back in, so that's nice at least. Like if this was 1 Exodius, 2 Pot of Avarice, it would have hurt a lot more. But yeah, so otherwise... And my playtesting with Joyboy before the Crow's Nest started was him countering me with card destruction pretty frequently in Lightsworn.
I wonder if the move was to set some of the spells.
Yeah, so if I was afraid of that, but like I figured that like I was inevitably going to draw a salvage or a what was I thinking? A salvage or just a Substitoad, right? Because I had the swap, so I could have special summoned the swap, sent the Substitoad, and then salvaged it back. But in that case, like if he kills his Treeborn, you want it back. It just helps.
It might be fine to set like 1. But I see no reason not to play around heavy here. That's like the only thing.
Yeah, I mean it would be setting. I guess I could have pro True-Nated, I guess, in the combo mirror, but I just figured this Treeborn I was gonna get value out of it one way or another, and I wasn't really afraid of getting OTK'd. Yeah, maybe it's just I learned a little bit from R.B.E.T. You don't just blind set things. You set things out of desperation, and I was feeling comfy. So this hand he drew me into, I was like, this is amazing. Thunder Dragon, you know, they're still in the deck, so I'll be able to do that. I got the Pot of Avarice I needed to put these back in.
1-for-1.
Yeah, and then 1-for-1 with Substitoad. So, like, I just get to combo with this hand. And I'm like, all right. So let him draw his whatever, get his perfect hand, and I'm good.
So he trades in with the blue eyes and starts going on this huge super rejuve discard turn.
But look at this, dude.
That means that you're probably not getting OTK this turn either.
Right. But what I am getting is card destructed again.
Oh,
no. Which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And double rejuve for your opponent as well.
So, like, now I have 4 of my extenders gone. And my Thunder Dragon's going to be a bad draw, which I think I get it. But, like, none of these were Plague and none of these were Fishborg. And they could have been. You know?
If you draw another Exodius, then the other 2 Exodius go back in deck.
Yeah.
1 Avarice.
Yeah, so I have 2 cards in here that bail me out, basically. Salvage is loaded, Pot of Avarice is loaded. So, like, we're in an okay spot for a lot of top decks. But also, we know he's getting his perfect draw. And, yeah, so I got the Pot of Avarice. That's nice.
Yep.
But like nothing's guaranteed here. Look at this draw. That's so funny.
14 cards.
So I'm not worried about anything except for like damage. So yeah. So we do our little Thunder Dragon thing, and all we're gonna do is Pot of Avarice. I think these and then like Substitute. I don't remember. Let's see what I say. Swap, Exodius, and Substitute. Yeah. So maybe it would have been correct to keep Substitute in there because see, I have I drew the salvage. That probably would have been correct, but
What do you get instead if you do keep them? Engrave the Thunder Dragons?
I could have put one back. There's anything you can put back. I could have kept ones. Well, I definitely want to put the Substitutes back in case I could combo or just make a synchro if I felt like I needed to. It wasn't going to get me there, so I probably should have done the safest thing. I just don't like, especially when my deck's so small, I don't like not putting in Substitutes because so much of the time I'll draw like a Swap Frog or something that'll get it live.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I end up foolishing, Substitute. Just so I can salvage it back. It's funny, that Card Trooper. Yeah, I just do the -1 with Swap Frog. And luckily I put the swaps back, so I was able to do the draw loop.
And Plague.
Yeah, so this is similar to one of those desperation plays I had. That I was salty the other day because one of my replays got destroyed because a DB crashed. It's like you kind of want these desperation plagues sometime just to like get you one more draw. You put back a swap just so you can do one more dig, and I think I did something like that. So I conceded I was not going to go infinite this game. But I didn't think it really mattered because I was like, well, Iron Wall counters his entire deck, so I bet you an Iron Wall in the starter just gets me there. That's what I was thinking.
Ooh.
So that sucked because then he had the heavy, and then he does this whole thing. I don't think I lose. Do I lose right here?
You seem like you're about to lose.
That's little damage, yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of brutal. I knew he had Heavy Storm. I guess I didn't think about Black Rose Dragon as an out. But I had to stop it early. That's just kind of what I was stuck doing. So I actually...
combo. Yeah, it's a combo with Salvage. It's nice.
Yeah, which is really nice, yeah. But I also... I sided out Trunade, I think. I think I don't have Trunade or Heavy. I think I just brought in my body for deck dev and anything relevant he does.
A lot
That's
of them Vortex.
Yeah, exactly. That's something else I was thinking. I was like, well, I know how he's going to out me, so if I can draw through my deck and keep this my body, it's like an extra Stardust. So, in worst case scenario, it's like I can push through or whatever. But yeah, having combo right away is really nice. So this is a little weak because I don't have a Pot of Avarice, but I do have 1-for-1, so I think I'm fine. So I'm digging for the Substitute. I can normal summon it, and also 1-for-1 for my Oh, so this is a little unusual. I don't always do that, but I just figured it doesn't matter if I draw a frog because I have 1-for-1. So like I could either discard because I put back Flip Flop Frog and Swap Frog with Murray of Greed. I was thinking, it's like, well, I could 1-for-1 right now and then be able to do Murray later. It was like, well, if I draw a dud frog right now, it's the same thing as 1-for-1ing it. And I would hate for Murray to be stuck in my hand, especially with my body that I don't want to discard and Imperial Wall, which I can't discard. So I decided to do that. And so like drawing fogs always feels bad with Murray of Greed because they should be in the graveyard. This did also kind of suck a little bit because I could have extra normal summoned a frog, but no matter what, I was doing 1-for-1. So because 1-for-1 bailed me out, I was okay drawing Death Frog. So it was just safer to do it that way. And we could send everything. But yeah, so I have to get rid of this my body. It kind of sucks.
You have to keep the Iron Wall and Exodius in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. So here I'm just digging to get... So basically no matter what I draw, I'm pitching. But luckily I get a +1. A Thunder Dragon or a Salvage makes this a little cleaner, which I was lucky to get. And it's nice to... you don't want to draw the Substitutes, but it's nice to not put them back with Exodius either. So like for my next draw loop, which it's extra nice if you can put back all 3 poison draws and all 3 Substitutes. Or sorry, all 3 poison draws and all 3 Swap Frogs. So like I get the big draw. And here, like I'm not sure I'm going to get it. So, oh yeah, and that's another thing. So normally I would do it this way. I would summon the dupe frog and then go like poison draw, substote. Sorry, swap frog. But like there were cards I didn't want to pitch, so I was like, well, I just have to do it this way. And sometimes, so it's worse because you have like you have 2 swaps and 2 poison draws in here that you do not, you don't want to draw. So it's way easier to get them all out. But it's also way worse to just lose because you didn't have a dupe frog. And I know that soft dupe block is good against this deck, so there's no reason not to play it safe, even if it means like ending combo early. But drawing Thunder Dragon bailed me out. Another +1's really nice. I could have used both Thunder Dragons, but it's common practice in this deck to keep one for the Exodius plays. Yeah, so I ended up doing a super weak setup because I just drew like 3 bricks in a row there at the end. I could have synchroed into something, but the Death Frog was already put away. And I just knew all along that it was possible for me to get like a really weak start. So I just, doing the safety strat actually made a really big difference here. But I just know like Iron Wall can counter their deck. So if he doesn't open Heavy Storm or MST, then I'm fine. And I think I brought in the second Iron Wall here. So it's like I knew I could just kind of throw it down. And look, he did nothing, which is great. And I get to do some really cool stuff with Plague. Because now Plague is like a Fishborg, but it lets me put swaps back on top of my deck.
I think this setup is one of the cooler parts of the deck where you just get to use Exodius and Plague Spreader infinitely.
Yeah.
And the fact that Plague's like a small level tuner really opens up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because this is infinite right here, so I just plain win right here. I think I explain it, although he does have a Gore, so I don't know exactly what I do. Oh yeah, I didn't have to use my main fate, so I'm not, yeah. So for this guy, I had to actually, yeah, he said show me. So he had Gore, so that's why he wanted to see. But I was already kind of in a bad mood because losing right away sucks because it always sucks. But for me, it sucks because I have like kind of eyes on me because I've historically held up the tournament just by playing my deck. R.B.E.T 2 didn't hurt that bad because I was in winner's bracket. And I had a bye right away. So like even though like my games were long, I didn't hold up the entire tournament. But R.B.E.T 1 and R.B.E.T 3, I'm holding up the entire tournament. Just because
you follow losers early.
Right. Yeah, because like I have to do like 5 rounds to catch up to like winning 1 round in winners. But it's also annoying because we had some problems early on with the bracket, and I had to wait like an hour and a half before I even got to play my second game. And then here, this is the second game, and he says, "Hey," I say, "Hey, this is infinite," which, of course, you don't have to know, but you can kind of see the loop here. I'm telling you it's infinite, and like he's actually making me play it out. So I think I actually draw out my entire deck here. When it's like I know that someone's going to be raging at me at some point down the line for holding up the entire tournament, which is exactly what happened. It wasn't real rage. It wasn't people were like salty, but nobody's actually yelling at me. I think even Mika comes in here and says, "Hey, this is not a slow play warning, but could you speed it up?" And I said, "He's making me play the whole infinite." And that's just what I said. So I'm not complaining. I'm happy to do it, but just understand this is not my fault that I'm holding up the tournament. It's my opponent for not believing me. So the point of these videos has been since the beginning to educate everyone so we can have a smoother experience. I'm not going to mess up the combo. It's almost impossible to mess up this combo.
Isn't the procedure to, like, once you have established that a loop exists,
yeah,
that you can just tell your opponent, "Hey, I can do this infinitely," and you can just explain what the loop is rather than just having to like go.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, honestly.
Because I feel like that such a thing has been like done before, especially during like the Ebigishki like FTK format.
It looped like this.
Kind of. It's basically it's sort of like an empty jar FTK, where you just have your opponent like draw their entire deck, but you can just constantly have cards left in your deck just because of the effects of the Gishki rituals.
I see.
That you end up playing in that strategy.
And so that if that's actual ruling, then yeah, maybe I should like call a judge if they make me play out infinite. I don't know, but I have the second video of my tutorial series on this YouTube channel. Like you can click on it. Actually, no, maybe it's the first one. I break down the different portions of the combo. So like here, I just finished the infinite draw portion, and now I'm doing the Gottoms portion, and then next I will do the R.B.E.T portion. So like once he sees the Gottoms, I think he gets it. I say, hey, this is infinite.
I think the draw part should be the one that you get a shortcut in. Like, you should just draw the whole deck, because that's the easiest one to explain.
And you'll see in another one, I ran into another player, and we had, I don't even know if what we did was legal, but here, I'll pause it. I had the same deal, and I said, hey, this is infinite. It was like, how? He kind of knew my combo. He's like, how? You have all 3 of your Thunder Dragons in the grave. And I was like, well, yeah, I don't get my infinite +1s, I get infinite +0s, and eventually I'll draw a Thunder Dragon, and then I get infinite +1s. So, like, it was kind of awkward to, like, explain, like, okay, let me show you, and then the fastest way to draw the Thunder Dragons is to send every frog in your deck after you Exodius. So you Exodius, send every frog to the deck. Substitute, send every frog from your deck to the grave, draw 1. Oh, that wasn't it? Put them all back, put them all back, put them all back, put them all back. It's just, like, comically complicated just because of DB. In real life, it'd be so easy to show it.
Yeah, you could just like separate the cards out of your graveyard and shuffle it into your deck, but DB forces you to do it like one by one.
Manual, yeah. So once he saw how like painfully slow it was, he was like, "Well, what's gonna happen?" And then, yeah, we'll get there.
Similar thing happens to like people who play like the really old Duel Monsters format with Fiber Jar, because if that thing flips late game, then everyone just has to one by one pick every single card, put it back in the deck, and it's not just that you have to do it one by one, but it also plays an animation of the card going back into the deck to show you what's being put back, and it interrupts your ability to do anything else. So what in real life would just be get all the cards on the table and then just flush it back into the deck. It's this huge like 2-minute long process just to resolve a single card's effect.
So like people being reasonable, and that's why I think it's really important to be kind if you're playing this deck. Like, understand how much of everyone's time you're potentially wasting. So, like, don't be a dick. Good life advice.
Yeah, what you might really want to do in the future is maybe call a judge, and the judge should know about the infinite loop, and they can tell your opponent, yeah, it's infinite, just proceed to the next game, because you have the lethal on board, no matter what they do.
And if Keegan was serious about actually having a talk with me, I have plenty of like reasonable points to bring up, but we'll see. But yeah, so this is game 3. I was able to squeak out I wouldn't say an undeserved victory game 2, but it definitely was not clean. It was not pretty. But that's how these combo versus combo games go. Like, even if you can't go all the way, you just kind of go for it. And if they still aren't there yet, then you got it, And I had to take that gamble. But this is a pretty bad opening hand. This would be okay against a regular deck. And I am looking okay. So I think I'm going to do... Yeah, I don't know if I've ever done this before. Murray agreed to weigh a Substitute turn 1. But, like, I have nothing but bricks. Yeah, you have to. Like, I could, in theory... Like, especially if one of these is a salvage, totally different thing. But, like, brick, right? So, like, the only thing I can do is get rid of Substitute and, like, hope I draw something more relevant. Which, more things to Murray is nice, too. Look at that. So I could have special summoned the swap, done Substitute stuff, but I had no extender whatsoever, so it would have just been a dupe block. And I decided that, like, I didn't need to do that. And here... Yeah, again, I'm pretty sure I have 2 Imperial Iron Walls, so I was okay at just, like, slamming it down, even if I had a Treeborn. I was like, okay, well, opening hand, he probably has a Heavy or an MST. If he has it, no big deal. I'll draw into my other wall, and I get a Treeborn. So it's almost ideal that he blows this up. And Kokimiro Drago can pose a problem for me. But only when I'm actually comboing. So that's pretty funny. Like, just a dupe frog. I felt really good when this happened, like, because I'm not really doing much, and I just set a dupe frog, and he had to spend a lightning vortex into battle phase to get rid of it.
Yeah, you know that the Dragon Turbo player is definitely down bad if they have to use a vortex on a single dupe frog and summon a dragon to attack. They're shutting off their own red matter.
Right. So it's like, yeah, exactly. And so I was not afraid at all of getting comboed out. Until he's setting something else and they contribute some and all that stuff. But so here, this was like one of the most important decisions I made this game. is searching the Death Frog here with the Stoop Frog, because I guess you'll see in a sec. And although it's not necessarily that good, because it might have been worse. Like, if I knew he was going to heavy here, I probably would have wanted to keep it in the deck so that I could have searched for it with Substode. The neat trick with Substode and Death Frog is if your opponent has an exactly 1900 attack monster, you can suicide the Death Frog and it won't die because it can't be destroyed by battle.
Nice.
Yeah, and that actually comes out real clean in a later match. But yeah, so he does heavy. Oh, no, he doesn't.
Being able to suicide in the 1900s is actually kind of relevant, considering that there's like Thunder Kings, there's Dracos, there's Aliases.
Yeah.
There's actually like a fair amount of stuff that would benefit you being able to crash a 19, especially since you can special it from deck.
Exactly. Or if you have like two. Like I sometimes side in this. That happened a lot later in this rounds, and I might start playing around with that idea more. Just siding in the second Death Frog, because like if you're grinding out, it's nice. It's just nice to have a 1900 beater or just a level 5 non-tuner, you know. So this was questionable, setting the second Imperial Iron Wall, especially since I knew I had Treeborn in here. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking, because I get punished for it right away. But he can't. Oh, and this is like a beautiful card destruction for me. Look what I discarded. Like maybe yeah, I don't know what else. I have no justification. But like, I was really confused. I was like, I didn't even know you could summon something with instant fusion with Draco up. But yeah, of course you can get a non-dark and then tribute summon.
Yep.
So it sucks I'm going to lose my Substode here, but I have 1-for-1 with Fishborg. So it's like straight up a liability card destruction sometimes against combo. Like, I clearly was on a dead draw. But yeah, look at this. So,
Yeah.
horrible decision on his part. Because he says, draw phase, never mind, I meant standby phase. Deck dev. So I lose my cards, but I have salvage and 1-for-1, so I get to completely recoup. And I get my Treeborn. So if he just waited for main phase, it might have made a difference. But yeah, so I am going to do something I've never done before, which is win under deck dev. Right here.
Let's go.
And it's odd to see a deck dev in Dragon Turbo, because at least the inventor, the MWN or Hydro Pump, never cited it. And I think I haven't seen any Dragon Turbo player ever cite in a deck devastation virus.
See, that's funny. The one paper tournament I went to, I lost a deck dev against dragons. And then this is the only time ever I've played Turbo Dragon with this deck, and he hit me with it. And I only knew because I saw it in stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're probably right. Like, it's probably not common, but a lot of people want to do it. So I hadn't really thought this through. Under deck dev, I can't use Moray of Greed and stuff because I draw a lot of things that get discarded. So I literally just say, I forgot, or something like that. But ultimately, I knew no matter what I was going for combo this turn. So, like, I was just praying that I wouldn't draw stuff. So here, when I use my Pot of Avarice, I don't put back stuff I normally put back. I put back things that, when I draw them, they won't get discarded to deck dev. And all I'm trying to do is get, like, I think I need 6 cards of card advantage to Colossal Army Arm him. So here, this Pot of Avarice needs to have at least one. Like, if this is 2 whiffs, I lose. So luckily I drew 1, and that's enough. So that's okay. So that was really cool that I was able to just barely, after getting like my hand disrupted like crazy with Crush card and deck dev, just barely get exactly enough cards to Colossal Army Arm Blue Eyes.
But it's still scary because you had to pray that you don't draw your draws here.
Yeah, but luckily the Pot of Avarice like saturated it pretty hard. Like if I drawn 1 Thunder Dragon, I would have been there right then. So there are 3 Thunder Dragons in here. So there's plenty of like positive draws that would have worked out. I think the math was in my favor for sure. But yeah, definitely scary. So that's it for. Oh, one thing I wanted to say about this game is he could have potentially kept Drago out like for a long time because I can't actually combo through it. So I would have had to suicide with a Death Frog. So that was kind of questionable. I mean, he had the deck dev, so it's like you're turning something that turns me off soft into something that's supposed to turn me off hard. So it's like too bad it didn't, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was a cool one.
For the salvage and other things.
Yeah, that's true too.
And I guess a lack of knowledge of your deck just played in your favor here.
Yeah, and that happens a lot. But yeah, anyway, so that's it for this one. We're going to go to the next round here in a sec.